Today's episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering the listeners of this show one free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. I totally recommend listening to audiobooks. It's the next best thing to listening to this podcast. It gets you through the day, and you can tell everybody else you read all these great books and you just sat your ass there and listened. Redeem your free audiobook by going to www.audibletrial.com/Outline Pod. Once again, that's www.audibletrial.com/Outline Pod. Or you can just click the link in the show notes. Let's start the show.
The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. This is the Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
Happy Wednesday! I am Kevin Dwayne, and this is the Outline Podcast. This is your weekly update of all things pop culture, the gay community, and a little piece of encouragement for everyone. Hope you are enjoying your week. It should be a short week for everyone because we just got off of Memorial Day weekend. I had an amazing weekend, and this week is great because I'm only working 2 days this week, and I'm super excited about it. So this weekend coming up, I am going to Orlando with a bunch of friends, and I'm super excited to have a good time with them all. A couple of them have actually been on this show before. You have Elliot. He was on the episode about just showing up as a friend. And you had Rosie. She was on the episode about feminism, and we talked all the things, equal rights, and it was a great conversation. So go listen to both of those episodes if you haven't heard them. But this weekend is like 10 of us renting out this house, and I'm super excited about it. I think we're going to have a really, really good time. I love being social in that kind of space where it's super safe, and it's just, I'm super excited. And once again, I only work 2 goddamn days, so you can't tell me anything because by the time you listen to this podcast, I will have already started my work day, and once 5:30 hits, it is deuces until next week. Super, 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 super stoked. Like, these are the good times. This is what this season is all about. Vacations, having a good time, being thotty. I'm so excited. But anywho, this last weekend was actually really, really good. I enjoyed myself. Friday night, I got a chance to see Deadpool 2. What's funny about Deadpool is I didn't see the first one until like 2 weeks ago. I decided I wanted to see it because I saw how much the promo was for Deadpool 2. So I was like, you know what? Let me watch 1 because I'm sure it's good. And I tried before, but I could never get through it. But I enjoyed it. So me and my cousin Jasmine saw Deadpool 2 on Friday evening. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. They upped the comedy in the second one. The first one was funny because Ryan Reynolds is hilarious, but this one, they took it to a whole nother level. I also enjoyed Zazie Beetz from Atlanta. She plays Ern's baby mama. I can't think of her name. I don't want to reduce her to a baby mama, but you know her character. She's playing a superhero in Deadpool, and she's super dope. She plays a character called Lucky. I really enjoyed her, and it was just a really entertaining movie. Very gory, very funny, but it's great. It's one of those movies that is damn near 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it because it goes by so quickly. And it was crazy because I drank this big ass thing of water while I was there, and I had to go to the restroom from the time the movie started till it ended. And it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore, so I had to leave during the movie. So there was a small chunk that I missed that I didn't want to miss, but luckily Jasmine was able to catch me up in just a couple words. And I was like, okay, cool. I understand what's happening still. So that was dope. Also, the trailers were lit. and Deadpool 2. We went to Regal, and the trailer lineups had a bunch of movies that have black leads in them, and I was like hella impressed. Like you have the movie with Denzel Washington, The Equalizer 2. Then there was the movie with Sterling K. Brown and dude from Atlanta. I can't think of his name for shit right now. I'm sorry. Brian something. He's in it. And they were just playing all these movies that have black leads in them. You have The Purge with the guy from Insecure. I really should have researched all of their names before even bringing this up, but I didn't think to bring it up. So please forgive me for not being able to list our kings and queens in the entertainment industry. But there's a lot of fucking movies coming out that have black leads, and I am super excited about it. It's super on trend and it's trendy, a lot like the 90s where we had a bunch of black sitcoms and then they just disappeared in the 2000s. I feel like we're back in that period where it's very trendy to have shows that cater to black audiences, but I'm not complaining. I think it's dope as fuck, and I hope the trend lasts for a long ass time before we go back to pure whiteness on television, because it gets boring after a while. So shout out to all of those movies that were in the lineup. Super excited to see them all, even though I'm not a big fan of The Purge, but I'm gonna see it anyway because I gotta support. I have to support. So that was Friday night. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Saturday, did some volunteer work. So Mike, who was also on the podcast, you guys see a theme here. If you're my friend, chances are you've been on the podcast or you're going to be on the podcast sooner or later. So Mike was on the show last year sometime. For his birthday, which was last week, he's asked that we all do some volunteer work, which I thought was super like that's some dope shit. Like, instead of just celebrating or partying or getting drunk or fucked up or whatever, he's like, you know what? I asked that for my birthday, you volunteer your time. And so we all volunteer our time at this center called, not center, but it's a, how do I put it? It's a food packaging company. There's a catering business that cater to those with chronic illnesses, HIV, diabetes, and different chronic things that go on within the body. It's called Good Hands. So they pack thousands of lunches every day, and they have really amazing stats at the spot. So Saturday morning, we went to their facility off of Armour Drive in Midtown. We got there at like 9 a.m. We were part of the morning packing shift. So at 9 o'clock, there was an orientation. They told us all about the program, the rules that you had to follow. Like, you couldn't wear any jewelry, like no jewelry whatsoever. If you had a beard like I do, I had to wear this beard cover along with a beard net, hair net. You had to wear like this I'm just so lost for words right now. I am so lost. But this apron, and then it was almost like going to a medical facility. So you go into the main area after getting dressed. You have to wash your hands really, really good, and you have to grab some gloves to operate the food. That really put me at ease, knowing that this facility really had a clean process. Like, that's amazing, knowing that they care enough to make sure that they're not letting any weird things happen with the food that goes out to these people who are unable to get food for themselves. So I thought that was really amazing. I knew it was serious when I grabbed a glove. I grabbed the glove and it fell onto the floor. And the lady was like, do not even think about picking it up. Just leave it there. Don't pick it up. Don't throw it away. Just grab another glove. Otherwise, you'll need to wash your hands again. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I grabbed another glove and she put me on my line. So in their kitchen, there are about 3 or 4 lines that are happening, and each line is doing different meal prep items. In these lines, there's like these, I hate to say the word bucket, but I'll say trays of food. Like, one tray will have, like, for example, in my line, one tray had sweet potatoes, then chicken, then like this Dijon mustard dip situation. Then there was like a cornbread and so on. Another line will have like pasta, chicken, like a chicken, it's like a chopped chicken situation. Another one will have a sausage, egg. Each one had a line, and they will put you on one of these stations. And basically, like a factory, one person would go ahead and scoop the sweet potatoes, pass it to you. You put the chicken on the plate, pass it to the next person. Now, another element was this. They had food weighs in front of you. So you had to weigh to make sure you're giving the appropriate portions to each person. So it wasn't just a scoop and go. You had to scoop, weigh to make sure it was the right amount. For example, in my line, the first set of meals, the sweet potatoes were like 6 ounces. And then the chicken, it was just chicken pieces. So you could just drop the chicken in there, which I had to do. Then the person next to me had to put the dip or the sauce that was like 1 ounce. And you had to measure it. And if it was too much or too little, you had to adjust as it is. So that process could definitely slow you down because there were rules like you can go 2 up or 5 down or something like that. But you have to follow it appropriately because if someone has diabetes, you cannot, give them too much sugar in their meal. So this was very, very important. And they emphasized that in the orientation. So I started off, I was next to this guy named Ron, and he was very interesting. He kept wanting to, some people are just naturally controlling. He kept trying to, be like, oh yeah, do this and try this and do this. And I'm like, okay, whatever, girl. So I went ahead, dropped my chicken, and we kept it pushing. There was this other Latin guy next to me, and he seemed kind of like, he was one of those serious guys who was very, very almost stoic about like keeping the process going. So there were times where Ron would walk away and just leave the sweet potatoes there, and we would be kind of slow, like, okay, what's happening? And so the guy next to me, I didn't get his name, was like, okay, well, you can go ahead and dip those sweet potatoes too. So while we're waiting on him, don't be afraid to just hop on there. So at a certain point, I hopped on the sweet potatoes, I was doing the chicken, and then he walked away, then I was doing the dip, and I was like running the whole thing. I promoted myself to supervisor because at a certain point I was running the whole line and I was telling other people what to do. I'm like, well, listen, that's not the right measurement. Do this, handle this. And it worked out. So the first hour was interesting because we were packing so many meals. Like there were so many. I believe it was 381 for that first meal. So we were just moving in this thing for the first hour. I was like, oh my God, we're doing this until 12. And I was like, shit, this is actually work. But then that's what volunteer work is all about. I mean, that's what you're there for. So I kept keeping that mindset. Like I'm volunteering my time. This is what it's like. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing. Cause at a certain point, after grabbing the goddamn tongs to grab the chicken, my hand was killing me. So I had no problem switching off to the scoop on the sweet potatoes or the Dijon mustard. So we did that for like an hour. We cleared the 381. Then it went to the next meal. The next meal was similar to the last one, but this time it was like a chopped chicken with the sweet potatoes. And then I think it was like a different type of gravy or something that happened. And then this time we were only doing 22 of those. So the meal kept changing and the measurements kept changing. And as we packed different meals, then we would help with other things. Like, oh, can you help me get these eggs out of this tray? Or get these sausage on this plate, and then after that we would clean up. But overall, I felt really good to do that. I definitely plan on going back because once you go once on a Saturday, you can go any day of the week and volunteer your time because they pack so many meals every day. You can even deliver the food too if you want to. So definitely check it out if you're in Atlanta. It's called Open Hand, but had a really, really good time. Of course, me, Mike, Christopher, and then another one of Mike's friends named Pierre. We all joked, laughed, had a good time, and we volunteered our time. We also met this other guy there that we may link with in the future too. So it worked out, super dope. Open Hand Atlanta. If you want to volunteer your time, get some hours for work or community service, whatever, check them out. Super, super cool. So after that, we went to Mellow Mushroom in Buckhead, which is also the scene of the crime where I was catfished. So, definitely had a nice little triggered moment. Well, not really. I really don't give a fuck anymore. But that's definitely where I sat for like 30 minutes to an hour waiting for a nigga that didn't exist. So good times. So I went to Mellow Mushroom. I had a great vegan pizza there that was really delicious. And we, had drinks and talked and caught up and, had a quick little moment. Then I came home and I laid my ass down and watched TV. And I had this weird ass sleep pattern all day until Sunday. On Sunday, drove down to Riverdale to meet up with Raven, where we did some yoga. Then after, we filmed a panel discussion for his podcast, The Healing Space. That show will be up next week, which is, I think, the first week of June. So next Tuesday, it's a segment he has called Black, Queer, and Unapologetic. So look out for that. We talk about mental wellness, mental health. It's a really, really good conversation that I think you guys will enjoy. So be on the lookout for that. I will definitely promo it when it's time. After that, came home. What did I do after that? Came home, I ate, and I chilled. I watched TV, and that carried on until Monday. And Monday, I turned my phone off. I disconnected. And I watched movies and television all damn day. I relaxed, and I relaxed in a way that was not intruded by social media. A lot of times when I sit down and watch TV or chill, I'm still checking Instagram and Facebook. You know, you tell people what movies you're watching. I was like, you know what? Today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to put my phone in airplane mode and chill. So I watched Call Me by Your Name for a second time. That movie is absolutely beautiful. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's so good. I also watched this other movie called God's Own Country. That's on Netflix. Another good movie. It has a very slow start, and so it's hard to connect for a minute. But once you get into it, I want to say like the first half hour, it starts making sense, and it ends up being a really, really good, thought-provoking, and touching movie. Then I watched like Love and Hip Hop and New Girl and Happy Endings, this other show called Younger on TV Land. Like I was just like watching everything that just came on, and it was a really good, relaxing day. And I think we all need days like that. So it worked out. So that was my weekend. Had a great, great time. Side note, over the weekend, It's Whatever by Aaliyah on her last album, self-titled, came on. And it made me end up listening to the whole album and just kind of, I just wanted to hear it because it's a great album. But what amazes me about her last effort was it still holds up today in 2018. That album came out in 2001 and it still sounds amazing. And that makes it a classic for me. So if you can find it, because, you know, they do it. Okay. Blackground, which I think is no longer even around anymore. So I'm just going to blame her uncle. They did a terrible job with Aaliyah's legacy. Like, it's so sad that someone who has as many albums as she does, well, not as many, she has 3 albums, but to have 3 albums and to have a career and to be heralded by so many people, you can't access her music online. Like, it's not on streaming services outside of the first album, which was released on Jive. You don't have access to her other albums. Like, you have to find them on Amazon, or you have to have physical copies, which I do. But it's just really sad that you can't listen to these albums on streaming services, or it's just her legacy is not being handled well at all. And they need to do better. But the final album is actually really amazing and still sounds good to this day. Like, it doesn't sound dated. It doesn't sound out of place. So Static Major, Tank, and Timbaland did an amazing job on the production of that album. Like, it sounds so good to this day. Random side note, but I just wanted to share that. Let's see, what else is going on in pop culture? Cardi B, like, her videos are so fucking dope. Like, I think they're beautiful. Like, her looks are amazing. So a couple weeks ago, or hell, was that last week? She released a video for Be Careful, which is amazing. Be Careful has grown on me as a song. Like, I love it now. I think it's cute. But the video, the looks are amazing. It has like a Kill Bill vibe to it. And she just looks so damn dope. And she has that pregnancy glow that really works for her. Amazing. And then yesterday, she released the I Like It video featuring J Balvin. And I love that song, and the video is super cute too. It looks like she added some looks. She did part of the video before she started showing, another part where she was showing again, and then 2 weeks ago she recorded the final part in the red dress. But she looks so good in these videos. Like, I'm so hyped for Cardi. Like, Cardi, I love her. I really do. I think Cardi's dope. So I think that's all I wanted to cover when it comes to pop culture. I don't think anything else has really popped off that I've cared about, but whatever. So for the main topic today, it's not really a main topic as much as it is kind of like in the vein of The Read with Kid Fury and Crystal. So we've all been in a place where, as gay people or or anyone, I'm not even gonna say gay people, but I'm gonna go off of me. On the holidays, if you don't have family nearby or you don't have anywhere to go, oftentimes other gay friends or other people in your life will say, hey, I don't want you to be alone for the holiday. Come to my family's house. And I'm always appreciative of this. I think it's great when people open up their homes or introduce me to their family and have a good time or invite me to have a good time. And I'm always down to go. But far too many times, I'll accept the invite. And then on the way there, just before we get there, I'll get this caution from them that says, okay, so I also want to let you know that my family can be a little homophobic at times, or they're super religious, or they're super Christian, or they're Baptist, or yada, yada, yada. So please don't do too much at the party, or, just be kind of like, just don't be extra. And in my 20s or in another time period, I would have been like, okay, whatever, no problem. But now in my 30s, I'm just not down with that shit. Like, I'd rather stay home. I don't understand, especially as gay people or as people who are normally affirming of gay people, because I have girlfriends and people who, who aren't gay. They just fuck with me like that. Don't invite me to your people's shit if you know they're homophobic or they're going to have an issue with how I live my life, because I'm not going to further water down myself for the comfort of other people. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, once again, I appreciate being invited. Absolutely. Thank you so much. But if that's the case where I have to change who I am, I'll stay my ass at home. Believe it or not, I'm not a lonely kind of person. I don't need to be around people on the holidays. It's a day off, my nigga. Like, I can stay home and enjoy television. I'm sure some kind of marathon is on. I can make my own food and enjoy myself. Like, I appreciate you looking out for me, but don't look out for me in a way that is going to make me uncomfortable at your family's house. Because I've been to people's houses where their uncles, their great aunts, their grandmothers are mad, disrespectful, sexist, misogynist. They can say whatever they want. And because they're considered elders, they get away with it. Now, I have respect for people who are older than me. I do. But that does not mean they won't get read by me if they disrespect me. I don't play that you say anything you want to me and I'm just supposed to take it. Fuck that. Especially because here's the thing. My own family can get cussed out by me. Fuck that. No one disrespects me in my family. And if they do, I'm going the fuck off. I don't play that shit. But in the South, they treat family even deeper. Like, it's one of these things where it's like, you just don't do that. I don't play that shit. So if it's not even my family and it's your family and your grandma or whoever disrespects me, I have no problem being forthright and letting them know that that's not working with me and that's what it is. Now, I told you guys before, I'm a wild card. And what I mean by that is I'm gay, I'm not religious, I'm vegan, I'm forthright, and I like to think I'm pretty fucking honest. So if you ask me a question, I'm going to let you know. So if it goes like this, oh, Kevin, what church do you go to? I don't go to church because I'm not a Christian. Don't be mad that I said that. That's my truth. Okay. Kevin, do you have a girlfriend? Nope, I'm gay. Don't be mad at me for saying that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to, oh, are you gonna get a plate? Well, I don't eat animal products, so I'll see what you guys have available and I'll eat that. Don't be offended by that, though. I'm not saying your food isn't good or I'm too good to eat it. I just don't eat animal products. Don't be offended by that. Like, this is my truth. So all that to say is, unless your family's going to be cool with an outwardly gay, open and honest black gay man or whatever, then let me stay my ass at home, because I'm not going to come somewhere where I'm being disrespected. Like, there's no point in that whatsoever. And I'm seeing it so often, especially on Memorial Day. I'm seeing so many people online talking about how their family is so rude to them and their partners and all of that stuff. And I don't see the need for that. As an out gay man, like, I've worked so hard to live an honest life where I can live in my absolute and complete truth. And that's everywhere. There's no limits on that at all. And no shade to the people who have these family members who don't accept how they live their lives and their identity and their sexuality. No shade to those who are okay with muting themselves and watering themselves down to making their family comfortable. That is your business and that is your journey. But do not invite me along your journey because that's not me. I am who I am. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be loud. That doesn't mean I'm going to be disrespectful. That doesn't mean I'm going to be over the top, but I am going to be Kevin Dwayne. So the friend that I am when I'm with you in private, or the friend that I am when I'm with you around our mutual friends, that's who I'm going to be when I'm around your family. Now, I would love to be around your family. I appreciate that you would bring me into another part of your world, but I am not going to do that in a place where I cannot be comfortable and not be myself. I can't deal with your uncle making gay jokes or telling me how I should carry myself and how I should and should not do this. If there's something that I see is going to be a problem, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call it out. I feel like that is my right to say, listen, this is a problem and you're not going to say this. And let me show you where you went wrong with that. It's so unfair, especially in 2018, that people still live in this world where we have to be alternative people. We're just humans. We're all just humans. We're not alternative to heterosexuals. They're heterosexual and we're homosexual. You also have the trans community. You also have pansexual. You have other people in this world. It's not a matter of what's normal and what's not. Fuck that. Fuck normal, because no one's really normal. Normal is an ideal. We all are equal in this, whether you believe that shit or not. So if I cannot be equal at the barbecue, at the baby shower, at the whatever, at the potluck, I don't want to come. I'll stay home. I'll enjoy myself because guess what? I'm accepted at home. I live by myself, but I accept myself. I love myself. And if I can't be around people that affirm me and allow me to be free, then I'm just not going to do it. Too grown for that. I am too grown for that. And I hope whoever's listening, I hope this encourages you to not go into spaces where you're not accepted. Fuck being alone. Fuck being lonely. Fuck it if it's a holiday. Listen. If it's a holiday, Labor Day's coming up. That's the next big holiday. No. I'm wrong. 4th of July is the next big holiday. If you are by yourself that day, I suggest you get a cookbook, go to a fucking supermarket, make your own food. If you can't cook, that's the day you're going to try it. Bake some ribs if you have to. If you have a grill, go to the back yourself. Invite some other affirming friends over. Have your own barbecue. But do not take your ass to someone's house if they don't accept you for who you are. Do not go anywhere where you have to alter how you behave just to get a plate of fucking ribs. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. Do not do it. Stay your ass at home or go around people who actually care about you. It's 2018, baby. Like you can't allow people to run you like this. Like there has to be a line drawn. So that's where I stand with it. I really hope you guys take heed to this and walk in your truth and only go around people who will allow you to walk in your truth as well, because you don't need people's validation and you don't need to alter yourself for their comfort. Fuck that. Just don't invite me and don't take offense to it. I have no problem saying thank you so much, but I'm going to stay my ass at home. And this isn't shade to anyone indirect. This didn't happen over Memorial Day weekend, but I thought about it when I was reading all the different stories of people being disrespected by family members and friends of family. And you know what I mean? Nah, it's not worth that. Nah, don't do that. Respect yourself. Have your own dignity and have your own pride. Stay your ass at home. If you cannot be who you are, if you can't wear the ponytail, if you can't wear the fuchsia, if you can't wear the crop top, stay your ass at home. Because there's somewhere that will gladly allow you to be there with all that shit on. I'm being real about it. Maybe next year we can get together and I'll allow you to do all that because you got to be you. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Make sure you guys are subscribed. The show is no longer on SoundCloud. I know SoundCloud listeners, well, you haven't seen the show there, so I don't know if the SoundCloud listeners have caught on that it's not there, but it's not there on anymore. But you can listen to it on Spotify, you listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Libsyn.com, KevinDewayne.com. It's on several platforms, iHeartRadio, Overcast. There's plenty of places to listen to it. It's just not on SoundCloud. But make sure you subscribe. If you subscribe, leave a review, leave comments. Make sure you rate the show, give it 5 stars, and most importantly, tell your friends about the show. Make sure they're listening. Take your favorite quotes to Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you tag me using the official hashtag, The Outline Podcast, or at me, The World of Kevin, or at The Outline Podcast. Just go to the show notes to get all that info. But make sure you guys are promoting the show. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. Lord knows I'm about to have a great time, but I will talk to you all next week. Peace out.